Bite by Night has 4 distinct survivor classes. Today we'll be discussing which one is the best and why you should play them. Let's start off with the last place pick, the Medic. Now, if you play Medic, I know you're the most selfless person alive. This character has the worst base stats in the game, with only having 90 HP. Even though it's only a tiny drop from the standard 100 HP, it's still a lot considering most killers in the game do an average of 30 HP of damage. However, there is a self-heal ability which grants you 5 HP every second until 30 HP is gained. In theory, this should make the character extremely balanced. However, if you think this, you're wrong. You see, if your killer has more than 2 brain cells, it should be very easy for the killer to get 3 hits on you, especially when the survivor has no way of defending itself from the killer. You see, the customer gets a speed boost, the fighter gets a parry and an attack, and the security guard gets a taser. But the medic? No, the medic gets nothing. All the previously mentioned methods are ways to either stun or outspeed the killer, giving a good escape. However, this doesn't mean that the medic is a terrible role. You see, your second ability allows you to heal other players for 5 HP every 2 seconds until 30 HP is gained. You can also give your allies overshield, allowing them to be hit more. This means that if you play the medic, you will definitely be a thorn in the killer's side. However, it also means you'll be a priority target, since you can give the players infinite amounts of overshield during the game. In addition to that, since you have very low HP, you will be killed in 3 hits, which is not good for your survivability. In conclusion, while the medic is very good for your team, there are a very slim chance for you to actually survive to see your team win. And that's why this role is being placed at number 4. Up next, we have Customer. Customer is the free character and the one most new players become accustomed to. However, this doesn't mean that Customer is weak. As Customer, you have 2 abilities. You have Pizza and you have Drink. Your Pizza ability allows you to gain back 20% of your current HP. On its own, it wouldn't be that useful. However, when you pair it with your Drink ability, which grants you 30 extra stamina, 5 seconds of speed boost, 15 seconds of stamina recovery, and 20 seconds of reduced stamina usage, this ability becomes crazy. Even though your Drink ability has a 70-second cooldown, if you know what you're doing, then you should be able to use this ability to escape any encounter with all killers. Obviously, once you can escape, you can use your Pizza to self-heal. Or you can go find yourself a medic and heal even more HP. This makes the Customer class very versatile and useful for any situation that you can throw him in. And that's why Customer was at our number 3 slot. Up next, in our number 2 slot, we have Fighter. Fighter is an interesting character that has a surprising amount of nuance. The first ability is a swing ability, which allows the class to swing an axe at the killer, stunning them for 3 seconds. In addition to that, the axe can apply different effects to the killer, depending on what parry charge you have. For example, if you're on 1 charge, it gives slowness, if you're on 2 charges, it gives blindness, and if you're on 3 charges, it gives confusion, which basically gives the killer inverted controls. Of course, this is all made possible by the second ability, obviously being parry, which stuns the killer for 2 seconds and gives the fighter a parry charge. There is only one problem with this class, and it's that the parry doesn't really work too well. You see, in Bite by Night, the killer's hitbox is massive. I mean, when they attack, it stretches out far. And in addition to that, most killers hit within less than a second. So that means you have to predict the killer's movements rather than reacting to whenever they swing. This makes it extremely difficult to land the parry. However, it does feel satisfying when you eventually do land that parry. With all that being said, that's why Fighter was at our number 2 slot. Saving the best for last, at number 1, we have the Security Guard. And oh my god, Security Guard is genuinely so broken. Not only can you use your camera ability to see wherever the killer is across the map, but you can also ping where that killer is to show everybody on the survivor squad to where the killer is. And in addition to that, you can ping the Mimic while it's underground. Also, when Ennard is using its skin steal ability to become a survivor, you can simply just use your camera to figure out which survivor is Ennard. This is because all killers, survivors, and generators are labeled, and the only thing that isn't labeled is Ennard when he's using his skin steal ability. This means that Security Guard is a good counter for half of Ennard's kit. Even if the labels didn't exist, anytime you go on your camera automatically switches to the one that's closest to the killer, meaning that even with Ennard using his skin steal ability, you will always go to the camera where the killer is. And by process of elimination, you can figure out who the killer is and where they are, and all you have to do is simply tap on the camera button, and that's only one ability. The other ability, Taser, charges up, and the longer it charges, the longer stunned the killer is gonna be. This means that the killer can be stunned for like 6 seconds while all the survivors get away. This Taser can also just hit the killer through doors sometimes, which is just lovely, but that's not even the craziest part. No. The security guard also starts with 100 HP, along with 25 overshield, meaning as long as you have a medic in your server, you can reach 155 HP, effectively making you invincible when you're using all your other abilities. Anyone who doesn't believe that security guard is absolutely broken clearly has never played this game before. Now, I know that was kind of a long ramble, but let me just summarize all of this for you. The camera will always be able to spot the killer no matter where it is across the map, and using the camera, you can ping where the killer is, telling all the other survivors where that killer is so that they know to avoid that spot. And this camera will be able to see the killer no matter what, whether the killer is underground or the killer is impersonating somebody else. The camera will always be able to tell where the killer is. The camera battery is also way too long to actually be a consequence to using the camera. And even if the killer manages to find you, you still have your Taser ability, which allows you to stun the killer for a very long time. And even if all else fails, you can still tank 4 to 5 hits from the killer while also looping it around, distracting the killer for even more time. And that's why the security guard is so broken, because it has the best abilities, the best stats, and it only costs 900 scraps. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you want more videos like this, and I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed. See you later, folks.